Yeah. Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles. Listen, shout out to y'all, man, real quick, man. You know what I'm saying? The merch been going up. The bottle opener's been getting shipped out. You know what I'm saying? We just doing what we supposed to be doing because it is about to be a season. All these dudes who want to speak it into existence that it's not going to be a season just want to hold on to the little negativity that they got going on with their soul. I'm not going to give y'all none of that negativity. Like I said, I feel like it's going to be a season. You know what I mean? And we're getting closer and closer to that season. So far, we only got one player that opted out. You know, it is what it is. We don't know what we missing with him. Like I said, he never played for us before. We just got him via trade, and it is what it is. I want to give out some awards or some predictions for the upcoming season. It's about that time we do that. We talk about what I think is going to materialize from some of the key players. Now, let's talk about an offensive standout. An offensive standout on this team that I think that's going to be able to make a difference from week one. A difference. Should he get a roster spot and all this other crazy stuff? I think it's going to be Hightower. I think Hightower is going to make the Hightower is going to be the most dependable rookie wide receiver that we have. It's going to be Hightower. I just feel that way, and you know what I mean? I feel like it's going to be Hightower. Now, we're going to talk about most improved. Most improved on the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to give it to D-Jax. I'll tell you why. I think Deshaun Jackson is going to be really, really close to a 1,000-yard season. I'm not saying D-Jax will have 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns, but D-Jax will be ready week one. There will be no Alshon Jeffrey. D-Jax will be the leader. D-Jax probably runs the best routes out of everybody on the team right now. You know what I mean? I think D-Jax has a chance to put his mark on this season from the beginning, and then when Alshon steps in, everybody kind of will fall in line and fall into a nice groove and, you know, just be dependable as they should be. You know what I mean? Carson deserves to have the wide receiver group that he got. So, again, my rookie standout, you know, my offensive guy, the guy that's going to stand out on the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to say Hightower. He's going to be a breath of fresh air. Now, in terms of talking about most improved at the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to give it to Deshaun Jackson. Now, let's talk about my defensive standout. My defensive standout, and the defense is so tough. It's so tough. I'm going to keep it going with the rookies for my defensive standout. The guy that's going to make the most immediate impact from a rookie, I'm going to go with Davion Teller from the linebacker position. His end-to-end speed is bar none. His tackling ability, I just like a lot about him. And most improved, it's a toss-up. Most improved, I'm going to go between Sidney Jones and Derek Barnett. Yeah, I'm going to go between Sidney Jones and Derek Barnett for the most improved. I think that those guys need to step up, and I think that one of them will in a big way. I can't quite put my finger on it right now. The season, you know, we can't judge a lot of stuff off the first game of the season like we do a lot with Eagles fans, but I think that, you know, coming into this season, a lot of people got a lot to prove, and I haven't even scratched the surface on what I think Carson Wentz got to prove. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, what up, man? This is what I want y'all to wrap y'all minds around something real quick before we get into the meat and potatoes of the rest of this video. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to wrap your minds around something so we know what the NFL is, right? The NFL is predominantly, you know, black. Predominantly black. Hold on, I want to show y'all something real quick before we get into it. Look how good the grass look, bro. I've been really working on this grass, bro. It look real good. The sprinkler system is on. It's getting green, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy dry, bro. I hated it, bro. I look at everybody else's lawn. You know, everybody else's joint look like a fresh taper. I gotta keep it that way too. I gotta keep it the same way. But So we know the NFL is predominantly black, right? Predominantly black. We know that a lot of people that report on the sport of NFL, being as though the NFL is predominantly black, some of the black culture can't help but to rub and have an influence on some of these guys that report on, you know, the NFL and sports in general. Listen, if you follow basketball, you in tune with black culture. Period. If you follow football, you're in tune with black culture. These two sports are predominantly black sports, almost 80+%. You know what I'm saying? Another example of it is this: the black players in the the black players in the NBA, they brought something different to the game. When Allen Iverson came, it was tattoos, it was fashion, it was this and that. It was a different style of play. That style of play rubbed off onto White Chocolate, Jay Will. You know what I'm saying? Him with the tattoos. Birdman, Chris Anderson, him with the tattoos. This style of play has rubbed off, and this style of culture has rubbed off onto other people. And that's what's supposed to happen with culture. Culture is supposed to be spread it without. And then you got to take away the ties that the NFL and the NBA have with hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Dudes warming up the little baby before the game. Drake, Saquon Barkley. You know what I'm saying? You can't help but to know what's going on. Hip hop artists coming out with sneakers. You know what I'm saying? The sneaker culture and hip hop have been intertwined since forever. So now you get these predominantly black athletes. The major corporations, they gotta sign a LeBron James to Nike because LeBron James is connected to black culture, which is connected to the black community, and so forth and so on. It's it all surrounds the black community, and that's just the way it is. So for some of you, for some of you white guys that report on sports, you have to know that. You have to be aware. You have to be aware that we are in sensitive times, and sometimes you still can rub somebody the wrong way because you can make an innocent mistake. You can make an innocent mistake and say the wrong thing because you're so used to this culture, but you still got to understand these are sensitive and delicate times. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to speak on the behalf of a friend of mine. You know, I consider him a friend. Thomas R. Peterson. You know, y'all know him from Twitter. He has great statistics, you know what I'm saying? He's got some of the biggest NFL stars to retweet some of his tweets. You know what I mean? The dude just be on it. Me and him have had one-on-one conversations multiple times. I'm going to have him on my channel here shortly. I don't know when I'm going to set a date. I think he's on vacation right now. But you know what I mean? He's a brilliant sports mind. You know what I'm saying? Just period. Brilliant sports mind. You know, he made a mistake. Some old tweets surfaced with him using, the N-word. You know what I'm saying? I know him, and I know him. So I know it wasn't anything derogatory. I'm going to have him on my channel so he could come and clear it up. And me and him can have an open dialogue about what these type of words mean to a black guy. You know what I mean? What these type of words mean to a guy like myself. You know what I'm saying? Because until you have these conversations, everybody's going to blow everything out of proportion. Everybody's going to be quick to cancel somebody. I'm not going to let that happen to him. We're going to have a conversation and we're going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? If further behavior continues after these conversations, then, hey. You know what I'm saying? But you just got to be, you just have to know where you are. You have to know where the world is right now. You have to know where the world is right now. And the world is in a place to where the only way that this can be fixed, you know what I'm saying, is by open dialogue and open conversation. You know what I mean? That's just is. Why does everybody seem to forget about Brandon Graham? Why does everybody seem to forget about Brandon Graham? Brandon Graham had a Pro Bowl season, if you ask me, last year. I also believe that Brandon Graham was responsible for like a third of our interceptions. The pressure that Brandon Graham was getting on quarterbacks and forcing them to throw the ball early last year hasn't been looked at enough. The way Brandon Graham lived in the backfield, the way Brandon Graham has been sturdy for us for 10 years is not appreciated enough. We take Brandon Graham for granted in Philly, I think. I think we take Brandon Graham for granted and we can't go another day doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I want y'all to look at some of these highlights that I'm about to break down. Some things that Brandon Graham does regularly that we take for granted because Brandon Graham is good. I mean, from Pro Bowl snubs to top 100 player snubs, Brandon Graham is a walking advertisement for getting snubbed. And we're not going to keep letting this happen to Brandon Graham. So without further ado, I'm going to be breaking down probably 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plays of Brandon Graham that I think really stood out last season. Some of the things that I think is, listen, I'm excited about the defensive line. First and foremost, I am extremely excited about the defensive line. I think the defensive line is just, I think they on their way. I think they're on their way to being on a God tier. You know what I'm saying? And Brandon Graham is the catalyst for these things to happen. So like I said, without further ado, we're gonna get into some Brandon Graham footage, and I'm gonna be explaining to you guys why I believe Brandon Graham is one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. Period. Brandon Graham made plays like this often, man. Just look at him here from his edge position, living in the backfield, able to make an open field tackle on a speedy running back. That's just what he was doing, bruh. He was doing stuff like this. You know what I mean? Again, great hand placement, able to, get there and up with Matt Ryan's face. Just Brandon Graham is really underrated. Forces the early throw. I don't think he doesn't get here for the sack, but this pressure, these clips are about the pressure he gets and how they created turnovers for us. You know what I mean? That's just an example right there. Again, he has a choice. He could either go for the running back if you think he got the ball, but he forces the pressure. And we get our first and only pick 6 of the season, I believe, right here. Brandon Graham did this a lot. Look, pressure. Hands up, pressure. Force an early throw. Almost another interception. Brandon Graham is more valuable than you think. Again, pressure. I'm not displaying any of his sacks. Pressure, hands up, jumping to the ball, forces another early throw, almost causes another interception. Listen, when his defensive front can get this type of pressure, look at him, crowd in the pocket. Daniel Jones has nowhere to go. Pressure forces an interception. Brandon Graham was responsible for making our defense look as good as they could have ever looked. You know what I mean? It's about the pressure sometimes, man. When you can get constant pressure, you can get Super Bowls. Brandon Graham is a pressure guy, and we need stuff like that to make our secondary look better. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think in the comments. I think Brandon Graham is severely underappreciated, but I think this season it'll all come full circle for the Philadelphia Eagles.